Okay, so I'm going to add some more notes here just to say that we also talked about parameters and arguments, which is data into a function, right? Pass data into a function. And now what I'd like to talk about is return values, right? Return data from a function. I like this pass data into a function. Return data from a function. So we're going to see that now, this idea of a return value. And remember how I talked briefly about how let score, that having global variables isn't always the best. You can have unintended side effects, and it's better to keep things local if you can. So we're going to get rid of this as a global variable, and we're going to keep it as a local variable to this mark quiz function. And what we're going to change is this score really depends on what happens inside of these mark question functions. So these mark question functions are going to return the number of points that the user should get. So if they get the question right, the function should return 1 point. If they get the question wrong, it should return 0. And then I can just go score plus equals mark question. Right? Score plus equals mark question. Let's just copy and paste that right here and right here. Right? So the score plus equals just basically says add and assign, right? Add this to the score and reassign it. So it increments, or it adds onto this score variable, whatever this function returns. Okay, so right now these functions don't return anything, but all I have to do is, if I got the correct answer, instead of going score plus plus, I'm going to return 1, right? Because they get 1 point for the correct answer. If they get it wrong, I'm going to return 0. Okay, return 1, return 0. And you may think, do I really need to return 0? Well, the default value, if you don't specify what to return, it'll return undefined. And then when you try to add undefined to your score, it's going to mess everything up. So you do want to make sure you're specifying return 1, return 0. So if they get the question right, score will increase by 1. If they get it wrong, it'll increase by 0. So it won't change. Okay, so that's as easy as that. Return, and we keep this as a local variable, and we just use that return value to increment the score. Let's make sure it works. We'll save that. Hit refresh here. Let's just type in a couple answers again. And mark quiz, and it's still working. No errors. Everything's good here. Let's see if we can get everything right here. I think the cardinal is wrong. 4 to 4, 100%. All correct. Okay, looking good. Bum, 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 bum. What more do I need to talk about here? We've talked about defining and invoking functions. We've talked about local and global variables. We've talked about how functions help us keep our code organized and more efficient. And the efficiency actually was more tied in here, right? Where we passed data into the function with parameters and arguments. And we talked about return values, how you can return data from a function. All right, that's pretty cool. So like I said, this quiz, look how short this is. Right? We just have the one function that's in charge of marking the questions, and then this other thing that sets up the score, calls those mark question functions, and displays the result. That's awesome. Okay, hopefully this was a good review of functions. These are the key concepts that we should be understanding about functions. And yeah, they are a useful tool to make organized and efficient programs. All right, that's it for this lesson. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.